Congratulations to all of the nominees. Thank you all for being here. Judge Bazis, if I could just start with you. I want to ask you about this case, United States versus Bartunik, I think it is, from 2017. Do you remember this case?
I do.
This is a case in which you granted pretrial release to the defendant. It was a child pornography case. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Now, you said in your responses to the panel's questions that the defendant had no criminal convictions and had lived in Nebraska his entire life, and that he owned the home he was living in and was employed. I understand, however, at the time that you granted him release, the Omaha Police Department had an open investigation regarding the sexual assault of a 7-year-old child in which he was the subject. He was the suspect, and that was in the pre-sentence report. So just walk me through your thinking.
During the hearing, I asked for additional information from the government, and they couldn't give it to me, so we didn't have a lot of facts in regards to that. The facts and circumstances, there was no additional information that was provided to me at that time.
So you didn't know he was the subject of the investigation?
There may have been a mention, but the question I had was, well, what does that mean? Has there been a report made? Is he truly the suspect, or was his name just mentioned? What were the circumstances? And at that point in time, there was no additional information that could be given.
I see. So it looks like to me what was, according to the revised PSR, the Omaha Police Department has an open investigation regarding the sexual assault of a 7-year-old child, who's then identified with initials, in which the defendant is the subject. But you're saying that you thought that was not sufficient in order to guide your judgment?
Was that the pre-sentence report, which would happen after sentencing, versus the pretrial report, which is what I would get prior to bond setting?
Offers the following objections to the revised PSR. The defendant objects to the inclusion of any reference, and then it goes on to quote this material about the sexual assault. So you're saying you didn't have that information?
Correct. That would have been after sentencing.
Okay, so you weren't aware that...
At sentencing, prior to sentencing, after a plea, is when that information would...
Okay, so when you granted pretrial release, you were not aware that he was under investigation for the assault of a 7-year-old?
Based on what you're saying in that PSR, then no.
Well, is your memory any different? I mean, I can give these questions to you for the record if that would be more helpful. I just want to clarify the facts, because I just want to make sure. If you're telling me you didn't know about it, that's a very different thing.
Well, I don't believe I did.
Okay. Okay. We will. I tell you what. I'll give you some questions for the record on this, and that way, so that you don't have to just rely on your memory.
And I can go back and look at the pre-sentence report.
That'd be great.
Or the pretrial report, which would tell me that.
Great. Fair enough. Thank you.